like you're living through a major historical event? Well, chances are you probably are. Welcome to another book talk from me, Ms. Lauren. I am here to share with you my top 5 favorite I Survived books by Lauren Tarshis. And so the I Survived series is an amazing collection of historical fiction novels for kids. And so a historical fiction novel is going to be a book that's about a real time in history that often has a lot of true events in it, but will be told through the framework of a made-up character. So a lot of the things that happen in Lauren Tarshis's books actually happened, they just happened to a bunch of different people, and she uses the characters in her stories to explain these really sometimes disastrous cataclysmic events. So we're gonna get started, and let's start with number 5. For number 5, let's go with I Survived the San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. So I'm a lifelong Midwesterner. I've never been in an earthquake, so this was a great window into what that experience might be. Another thing that's awesome about these books is that when you think about 1906, not a lot of other things pop into your mind sometimes, but Lauren Tarshis does a great job of including different cultural touch points from that moment in history, as well as talking about the earthquake. And just the sheer devastation of the San Francisco earthquake would make you think that as a city it wasn't able to recover, that would never become one of, America's widely known, most populated cities, but it is. And to this day, when you think of landmarks like the Golden Gate Bridge, you think of San Francisco. My number 4 favorite I Survived book is I Survived the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863, and that's because I'm a total sucker for any kind of personal experience I can tie into a book that I'm reading. I've actually visited Gettysburg and spent a whole day in a car with my mom, dad, and brother listening to a cassette tape guided tour of all the different battlefields. Well, Lauren Tarshis is going to take you into the action of Gettysburg through the eyes of a boy who's escaping slavery. And this is another example of how the author is going to tie in multiple elements of what's happening in American history in one book and dip your toes right into the action within the very first pages. Number 3, again, I really like anything that I can relate to, because when I'm reading, it's really all about me. Number 3 is the D-Day, I Survived the D-Day invasion from 1944, and this is set in France. Now, my great-grandfather fought and died in World War II, and he's actually buried in a military cemetery in Europe. And so that's something that I can reflect on, that my family has a personal history with this event. The boy who is the main character of I Survived D-Day is a French citizen, and he's been living in Nazi-occupied France, and now he's experiencing another invasion, but this time it's by the good guys. Another reason to check this book out is for its very cool twist ending. Number 2. Now this one literally hits a little close to home. This is I Survived the Joplin Tornado of 2011, and Joplin is in Missouri. Joplin, Missouri is near the border of Kansas and Oklahoma, and in 2011 they were hit by an enormous EF5 tornado that tore a path right through the middle of their town and killed over 100 people and wounded over 1,100 people. And so this book is really interesting because it was the people of Joplin that went to Lauren Tarshis and said, we want you to write this book about our town's experience. And she was able to illustrate how disastrous and what a terrible impact the tornado had, but still show how resilient the town of Joplin was. And for my number 1 favorite, this is my personal favorite, I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the one I like the most. My number 1 favorite I Survived book is I Survived the Great Molasses Flood in Boston, Massachusetts, 1919. We got a lot of stuff going on in this one, so buckle up, folks. We've got pandemic, we've got an immigrant experience, we've got a young girl riding on horseback away from a molasses flood. Check it out. The cover is awesome. Don't you want to read that? I did. So really do check it out, especially in Lauren Tarshis' afterword that she includes in pretty much every book. But this one especially, I really liked how she spoke about her own family's immigrant experience and how it tied into the way she wrote the main character's experience. Thank you so much for tuning in to another book talk. I hope you feel like you are ready to survive anything that the world can throw at you after you check out one of these amazing novels. Thanks so much. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you later.